Well, what do you know? We have another trailer for the upcoming Miraculous film, this time in English. Hooray! As well as a little bit of news about the release date and the release platform. So I guess we'll start with the news first, and then go through the trailer, shall we? Anyway, no point in beating around the bush. The film's going to release on the 28th of July, and it's going to exclusively find itself released on Netflix. Well, sort of. It's a mostly Netflix release. They seem to have the global release rights, except for certain countries, like France, Germany, Greece, parts of Eastern Europe and Southeast Asia, I think. At least that's from my research. So it is a mostly Netflix release, with some exceptions. And I'm sure it's going to be released in select cinemas as well, so they can try and get it in contention for some awards for the next award season. And yeah, I'm in two minds about this. On the one hand, I'm honestly a little bit disappointed. I think I would have liked to see it get a full theatrical release. It's a big name franchise, honestly, and I think it could do quite well for itself. And I think I would have liked to see how much box office it could have grossed. How much money this bad boy could earn. With Netflix, you don't get to see those numbers. And with such a limited release, on Wikipedia, the box office numbers are going to seem so low, and it'll just annoy me forever. But yeah, on the other hand, it's very likely the best move they could have actually made. Realistically, I think to get the best reach, the film needed the backing of one of the big distribution companies. And if we're talking reach, there are very few companies that have the same potential as Netflix. It is a global phenomenon. I feel like everybody at least knows somebody that has an active Netflix subscription. And we have seen them delve more into film distribution in the last couple of years. Films that they didn't make themselves, making deals to be an exclusive hub where studios can release their own movies. I mean, look at something like Enola Holmes. That film was not meant to be released on Netflix, but COVID killed its cinematic release, and then Netflix acquired the rights, and what do you know? It blew up and became one of their most successful films ever. And then the sequel was as well. And that was largely off the back of Millie Bobby Brown's popularity, and I think due to the general interest in Sherlock Holmes as well, but also, it had a lot to do with Netflix's ability to just permeate pop culture. Everyone knows it. Everyone has it. And so it blew up and showed what an impact Netflix releases can have. Because it's right there, on demand, and everyone can watch it all at once and discuss it in real time. Cinematic releases do lack that certain vibe. And so in that way, I think that this release mode is actually perfect for Miraculous. The show has such a diverse fan base from across the world, all of whom can now watch it in their own language at the same time, on the same site. And so I think Netflix is actually going to do a booming trade on this film, I'm certain of it. And as a result, I'm also pretty sure we're going to see the rapid expansion of Miraculous Ladybug into a cinematic franchise. I just don't see how this film can fail financially. It would have to be some sort of disaster to do so. I mean, there's no doubt that the show has waned somewhat in popularity, right? Just look at Google Trends. Look at all that. But then even then, regardless of that, the hype around the film and the interest in the franchise has not gone away. People are hyped as all hell. I think it's more that people are just dissatisfied with the direction of the show. And this is just a fresh concept, a fresh reboot of something that they love. And so far, the signs are very promising. And so yeah, sky's the limit, and I think this could very well be the thing that rejuvenates the fan base and blasts it back into pop culture consciousness, even more than it is now. But yeah, now we've talked through the actual release date and platform, there's nothing really else for it but to go straight to the trailer. This time, thankfully, in English, so I know what they're saying. But annoyingly, there does seem to be a lot less dialogue in this trailer than there was in the German and the French ones, so that's a bit frustrating, but yeah, I'll survive. Okay, so we start the trailer, and once again, I'm in awe of the overall visual quality of this thing. Like I've said so many times before, every time we do one of these trailer breakdowns, I'm just amazed at how good it looks. Look at the buildings, the lighting, the quantity of background characters used to make the world feel more alive, and hell, even the quality of them. They don't feel so cut and paste as they do in the show. You have variation, so much of it. Skin tone, hair color, even height. See, look there. Behind Marinette, there is a short person right there. And she's talking to a much taller person. You just love to see it. And just already it shows a lot of care and money have been put into making this thing to make it look as good as it possibly can, which is very refreshing because I don't think the show is going to be winning any awards for its visuals anytime soon. It just ain't that good. But this film, whew, looking good, Zag. Looking real good. I mean, look at the reflections in Marinette's eyes. Look at the reflections in the eyes. Oh. Anyway, it looks like they've really upped the ante on the whole awkward outsider vibe for Marinette as well. Whereas in the show, it always seems like Marinette has her core group of friends. Here, it looks like she has no real close friends. She gets knocked around a bit and keeps apologizing to everybody, and how she even does that to Rose. And like in the show, her and Rose, Julika and Milene, they seem to be really close friends, if some of the flashback episodes can be believed. But here, it doesn't look like that's the case. Maybe she's going to be the school weirdo based on what people are saying in the trailer, which, honestly, I didn't see that coming, but I think I like it. It makes her and Adrian both outsiders in their own way, but also completely different because he's going to instantly become mega popular. I mean, as long as they keep Adrian's own origin intact for the film as well. We then return to the scene of Tiki seemingly going rogue and choosing Marinette as her holder all on her own. And I gotta wonder, is this gonna be a case of Tiki choosing Marinette to be the ladybug wielder? Or is Fu gonna choose and set everything up? I kinda think I'd like to change it up a little bit and have Tiki be the one to decide. And then Fu just decides to go with the flow a little bit. Oh, you chose a random teenager. Oh, okay, why not? I think that has some decent comedic potential for like a scene or two. And then we finally get to hear some voice acting. And yeah, it's a lot more polished in the performances for the film. Not trying to hate, but I don't think that every single line in the show is delivered with gusto. You know, not for the actual episodic releases. And you can get away with that sort of thing when it's just a show. You don't really think about it quite so much, but in a film, when the voice acting sucks, you notice. I don't know why, but it's just how it is. Maybe it's because, in your mind, a film is more prestigious, I guess? More of a commitment of your time than a 20-minute episode? Regardless, that is how it is. And I gotta say, from our limited look, or limited listen, I guess, the English dub is sounding very good. Real good. Another thing I've enjoyed is the return of sassy Tiki. Having rewatched season 1 of the show semi-recently, it's so weird seeing how mean Tiki can be, especially to Marinette. Like, not in a cruel way, but in a cheeky way. And whilst that somewhat returned in later seasons, I'm really hoping it returns in full force for the film. We then see a bunch of clips that have been in practically every single trailer, and I think the only thing I'll hone in on is that I really like the change to the yo-yo. It sort of seems like it has a mind of its own, and is able to make her fly. To me, that makes a lot more sense than having her hook onto things. It just flows better. And it also sets her apart from Spider-Man a bit more. And yeah, honestly, I don't think there's any fresh scenes after that, is there? I mean, there's one of Ladybug saving Chloe from falling to her death, I guess. I can't really remember that from any previous trailer, but it might have been there. And this does make me wonder what version of Chloe they're going to use. Are they going to hold firm with the irredeemable asshole Chloe? Or the more nuanced early seasons anti-hero-ish Chloe? Realistically, it's going to be the first version, but I think I would like to see an alternate take on the character if I'm being perfectly honest. This is the film. It's your chance to change things that people didn't like the first time around. And I think that's a big one. But yeah, apart from that, there's not really much to say. It wasn't a very long trailer. There wasn't really much to say about it or new scenes, but it just looks very good. I'm very excited and I'm very hyped for the release date at last. And so, with all that being said, I'll throw it to you. What did you think of the trailer? You like it, hate it? What do you think about it being a Netflix release? Do you think that's a good idea? Are you hyped for this thing? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know.